Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. I hope you guys are doing well.
Hope you guys are doing super well.
Oh man, there is so much to cover, so much to talk about in this crazy world right now. The Earth changes seem to be going to like all new levels right now. And also, of course, everything else seems to be going to all new levels when we're talking about, the pestilence situation and also, just the strife and the potential for war. We have it all going on right now.
We do, and I like to call it a marked difference. Like you can truly see this definitely a notch up now.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about the messages that we've been getting as through our meditation and through the communications that Cindy does with her channeling and other videos. But most definitely, what we're getting, in a nutshell, is just that that's it. Things are speeding up. There's going to be a rapid succession of events, which we can already see these things playing out. Here you see the world's largest dam in danger of collapse amid historic floods, 400 million people at risk in China. And this is Three Gorges Dam. And, cynical me looks at this and, I think, how could you let something like this happen in the first place? As we've talked about, it seems like, it's just an all too perfect storm that's going on. And when you look at the news, you get completely opposite stories from one place to another. So you see, as we see here, expert warns China's Three Gorges Dam in danger of collapse. And then Global Times says Three Gorges Dam is not going to collapse amid heavy rainfall. I was just looking at the articles and telling Cindy, it's like, oh, they say it's going to collapse. Nope, no, it's not going to collapse. It's going to collapse. No, it's not going to collapse. Is it on the brink of collapse? Well, if it did collapse, this would be one of the biggest catastrophes we've seen. Period.
Yeah, I would really hate to think that they actually planned something like this, but look at the world we live in. It's just sad.
And I think a lot of things are dependent upon each other. So, we're keeping an eye on that. We see a once in 50 years rainfall event hits Nagasaki in Japan. The floods that are going on around the world, as we're going to see, it's just piling on. And you got records breaking everywhere, 7.1 inches in a 3-hour period on Thursday morning, which is a record again. And you had, this is just going on everywhere we look. And we had talked before, a long time ago, back in 2017, saying one of the best investments for anybody anywhere is having your own inflatable device just in case. And that's not a joke, really. I mean, it's serious. We've seen so many main streets just buried 4 or 5 feet of water.
Yeah, and that's really scary stuff. These people's livelihoods they've been just changed.
And again, these times are obviously something that's cyclical. We can see that when we look back and we look at the different myths and legends, which again have a basis in reality. And here we see deadly flash floods hit Romania after the worst drought in 100 years, heaviest floods in 200 years. This is what we have. We have extremes.
Extremely crazy.
And everybody, if we could, send out our prayers and best wishes for all these people. There's a lot of videos here, so you see we've seen so many cars swept away. And we see heavy rain triggers gold mine collapse, killing 3 in northwest Nicaragua. I wouldn't want to do that. It takes a special person to be able to go deep down inside the earth like that and do that type of work. And there's footage here that shows from yesterday's what they call a 5.8, which felt stronger than that to me. But Dutch was thinking it probably is a 5.8, 5.9. It actually caused a landslide here. And it looks like a very beautiful area. Cindy was like, "Where's that?" I said, I believe that's by Lone Pine. And, this is 200 miles north of L.A., northeast. And it caused a landslide. And it does look like a real pretty area. So somewhere I'd like to go hiking, and maybe we could just like lie on the ground and get ourselves a massage, because the quakes are coming very quickly there, and we'll take a look at that in a second. Meanwhile, we got 6.1 off eastern Japan that rattled Tokyo. We know Casey said, at a certain time, Japan's going to go in a twinkling of an eye, and then California, the big one, would come. So all eyes on, the Pacific right now as we're watching. And we had a moderate 6.0, and this is in the southern island in New Zealand. And we were actually working with one of our family members in New Zealand, and then got off the phone with her after doing energy work. And she texted shortly thereafter saying, well, we just had a 6.0.
Which is really, really crazy.
And this is crazy. We 4.0 in Ghana. So this is in some ways more interesting, a 4.0 in Ghana, because this is an area that doesn't usually get hit. It's way in off the plate. So interesting though, because we have some really unusual ones popping up. Floods afflict Ukraine as it tries to control the plague upon the land. And there you go again, that scene that we've seen so many times, people wading through a river that used to be a street while people are getting rescued in boats. And they say the logging practices are aggravating the situation. The practices of this, global corporation that we are living under, when you get down to it, have not been ecologically friendly. And as much as people in the past used to call people tree huggers and stuff, well, now we see exactly what happens in so many ways with all the horrible stuff we've seen, the runoff by these corporations. You could test water anywhere and find all sorts of toxins in it. There's plastic in almost everybody's poop, because we are breathing in, plastics in our air. I mean, it's horrible. There's all sorts of toxins in mother's milk as well. So Houston flooding map, roads washed out, severe rain, Houston, and Texas is really feeling this, either a second wave, or is it the first wave still that's not done? But Texas is getting hammered there, and we'll talk about that on the other channel. Flood warning for much of the south, central, and eastern China. And all these things are going to make countries more desperate to control resources, which leads to a greater likelihood of war. And one of the things that maybe we miss a little bit is the mom and pops, stores as well, that are getting hit. This is out of the Columbus Telegram. Think about what all these little mom and pop stores have to face right now. I mean, in so many cases, they're getting hammered with all sorts of earth changes, floods, and things like that. And then, of course, we have the lockdown, and then, we're starting to ease lockdown. Whoa, no, we got to go back into the lockdown again. The economic situation is going to be just off the charts, as far as it'll be totally unprecedented. We'll look back at what happened in 1929 and the like and think, boy, that was relatively simple, compared to what's coming. We see lightning killing at least 83 in India. And we have, of course, the largest Saharan dust cloud in 50 years. Has to be a record there too, right? Because might as well, records everywhere. And so this is bringing hazardous air quality to all these areas where we already have situations where people are wearing masks every day, or if they're not, they might be heading in and getting either fined or thrown in jail in many of the states as they're adopting some more stringent laws. And of course, we have all the civil unrest going on at the same time. The planet is most definitely in travail. And as we see here, the Sahara dust engulfs Cancun. Same time, extreme sandstorms rage inside Mexico, and there's some videos in there as well. And you could see what a difference the dust storms make than sand. And, we have, of course, a lot of volcanic activity going on, too. So new activity unrest was reported for 6 volcanoes in the past week. During the same time period, ongoing activity was reported for 18. So, it's getting more active.
I don't know how many more pages do we have that say new record broken, record broken.
Yeah, it's one after another. So let me show you this first. Okay, that's the Ghana one, which is, unusual. Not that it can't occur. And we know that at some point, this whole area through here is going to break off. And, Africa is going to split up. That's underway. And the world's going to look totally different. And it's just a matter of how long, because the scientists will tell us, oh, that's going to take a million years, da-da-da. But will it? Or will it be more like Velikovsky and Hapgood? And here we see one. This is a slightly unusual one, too, right on the Georgia-South Carolina border. As I was saying, I'm thinking I want to do another video just highlighting the areas where there are nuclear power plants, because there are nuclear power plants around here. I used to live in the Columbia area. I used to live down in Hilton Head, Low Country area as well as Savannah briefly, and also in Wilmington, Charlotte. And I've been all over the Carolinas. And that's one of the challenges that we are going to be facing when the grid goes down. And I do think we have a very high likelihood of seeing some serious outages, perhaps before the end of the year. And again, that makes it just another thing we have to keep in mind. So you're seeing all these red little rivers here. These are all faults. These are all faults. So, as we can see, there's a lot of faults in Nevada and also in California. And you see faults over here as well in northwestern Arizona. Now, this from yesterday, that 5.8 originally came out as a 6.1. Well, let's just isolate this whole area here. 183. That's a lot of quakes in this one little area here close to Lone Pine. And that's a lot. So massive swarming going on right there. Release of energy or a buildup. What do you guys think? And we've talked also about the Walker Lane. At some point there's going to be just such massive changes. So if we look at Ridgecrest in here, we have 226 of 592 quakes. And don't forget, we still have swarming going up west of Tonopah as well. In this area, we have 122 quakes. And the thing that hits me, too, is just how silent, for the most part, it's been through here. Because I do feel that all this is leading towards what might be that replay of 1700. And for those of you that don't know what happened in 1700, that was the big Cascadian one. And it was somewhere around or over a 9. And the Native Americans have legends about that, and whole villages were washed away from the tsunami that occurred. And we do see some swarming up in Idaho as well here, and there's quite a bit of activity in Utah. So lots and lots of things going on. Most definitely, it's it's a lot to keep up with, guys. Most definitely. And you see we do have over in Turkey also a 5.4 that came off. Now over here, we see shock wintry storm battering southern Croatia. Yeah, at the end of June, 4 inches of snow. So the extremes. And then 25 million people may go hungry as locust plague continues in East Africa, Middle East, and India. And don't forget they're in South America as well. Will they head into Central and North America? And some of you guys have reported to me that you've seen locusts in unusual numbers here in the United States as well in some spots. So, all this is adding to a major food crisis and a famine that is going to be developing. And it's a rolling emergency. It's a flying emergency. 450 billion locusts have been killed this year. That's a lot. but devastating swarms still ravage Africa, South America, India, Middle East. This is a global problem. And isn't it, it's just curious, like, how does all this happen? Boom, 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 one thing after another. Cost of European strawberries to hit record highs due to damaging May frosts. And the UN, don't worry, the UN is going to investigate northern Siberia's reported record Arctic heat. And you wonder what they will find, with temperatures of around 100 degrees in the Arctic Circle. And it's a severe heat wave that's affecting the Arctic Circle. But this world is going to be completely redone. And this is the beginnings. We're watching the beginnings of it. Things that were rare, like non-translucent clouds, now they're appearing as low as around England. And they're kind of beautiful.
Yeah, there's their beauty. It looks like water ripples.
It does. And then we have this apocalyptic storm, and this is Clovis, New Mexico. Does that look ominous or what?
That's really cool and freaky at the same time.
Yeah, it most definitely is. So guys, 25 prepper items you should keep in your purse or your mani purse. What do you call it? Mani bag, mani purse?
I think it's a man bag.
Something like that, or maybe just keep close. We could put that. So a multi-tool, and I just picked up like 3 more small, extremely inexpensive little utility knives that have different things on them, because you just don't know. And if you only have one, then it's like, sweetie, where did it go when you need it, and some of them can be picked up for less than $10, so they're really useful. And maybe keep one in each car, things like that. You just don't know what's going to happen in this world. Flashlights, same thing. Maybe keep them in, if you have more than one car, keep them in each car. Keep things, in different locations. If you have a bug out location, again, we were talking about breaking up food supplies, and the wisdom of not having everything in one spot. What happens if fire breaks out, a flood happens? What happens if there's rioting in this world? Somebody breaks in. It's good to diversify.
It is very good to diversify, you guys.
Bandana, lip balm, first aid kit, moist towelettes, hand sanitizer, of course, whistle, lighter, water, food, tissue, pen and paper, deck of cards just to kill the time. Side note, I once built a house of cards when I was a kid that was so large that it actually got put in the local newspaper. I never shared that with you guys. Yeah, I think it was around 5,000 cards I had put together, and it was literally, it took up a whole room. It was like, I want to say 12 foot by like 14 foot by about 5 feet high. And it actually, my mother had called the paper, and they were interested, so they did a little story on it, and they took photos. I don't have that anymore, though. My mother did have it, but who knows where that is now. So cash, poncho, feminine hygiene products, mini sewing kit, phone charger, Mylar blanket, pepper spray, duct tape, and paracord. So I want to thank everybody also that has supported us on Patreon and also on Ko-Fi. And if anybody has not ever gone to our website, it's evolutionaryenergyarts.com. And you can see the things that we do, as well as some referrals and, basically people sharing what they've experienced from energy work and other things that we do. And really, I haven't been able to keep up with pasting the reviews, but I am thankful for all you guys. We love you guys so much out there. So as always, guys, be prepared. Be prepared, be prepared, be prepared. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.